Good evening. This is the Elliott wave update for the S&P 500 and the NASDAQ 100 for Wednesday, April the 17th, 2024. I am going to start the way I always do. It was an interesting day yet again. It really kind of appears to me it's like the market continues to move through what I'm terming as a corrective move, which is backed up by a lot of the cycle work that I use. And so we're all looking for this low to come in towards the end of April, beginning of May, maybe sooner, maybe later. But the path that it's taking, still within normal parameters, gets a little boost from certain things that are happening within the market in terms of with volatility, with options flows, et cetera. And today was no exception to what we actually found or had to trade. So I'm going to start here with the S&P, and I'm looking at the 4-hour chart just to kind of show that everything remains the same all the way up to leaving the high, the existing high of 5,336, 337, actually 333, as the high for minor wave 3, and that would be as a part of an intermediate C wave up. Now, once I'm done with this, I will re-add all of the fibs for any upside move, should that be the case. Again, this was an alternate view. I moved it over to preferred because it fit, and the wave pattern coming off of that high was presenting a lot of problems to be considered a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or first 5 down to kick off a primary C wave decline. So, and right now that continues to be the case. So again, everything remains the same up to there. Let's bring it down and first take it to the 1-hour chart. And here is the 5, and then we can see I have an A, which is actually A, B, C for A, and it was a zigzag. And then a more complex B wave, and then we've got the C wave. And that then is 1, 2, 3, actually 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 3, ABC 4, which finished today at an early high, actually just, I think it was market open or just before the market opened, at 51.20. Then we had a very strong sell-off down to that today's lows at, let me just, 50.47. Now, that actually was just below, which should be strong support here in the future. And that's at that 50-50 level. 50-50, 50-52 should be. And it ended up holding once it got through, came back up and rallied strongly off of that level, actually. And now I want to take it down to 15 because it's time to talk about what all these internals are suggesting, particularly this one. So it's getting a little bit iffy in here. And the reason being is that what we got coming off appears to be a 3 waves up, an ABC up. So it would be 1 of 5, 2 of 5, and we're in the 3 of 5. And where are we headed with that? So what I've done, here's wave 1, down to wave 4, top of wave 4, to put in what our estimate would be for fib levels for wave 5. Equality is 5,012. Now, if it goes to 5,012, then we pretty much are going to be looking at the SPX, and we'll reference that real quickly here. The SPX 5,000 is a put wall. Support, big put wall. And I will show you briefly how big that put wall has gotten. The largest portion, of course, is for Friday. And there's an AM expiration and a PM expiration in the SPX on Friday. So let me just trim this down a little bit to 50 and then go right over to 5,000 and get to the right layout. Nope, that's not the one. This is the one. And we get down to that 50. You can see it was 90,000 coming in, 90,000 coming in today. And so an 11,850 traded again today. I don't know how much of that's going to put in or take out of the open interest, but this is the part of the call wall. And going up, we have an AM and here's the PM. Going back to that 5,000, a lot less. So it's in that morning expiration where that call wall, excuse me, that put wall is sitting. Now it can come up to what was expiring today. You see somebody came in. Now, I don't know if they sold that or whatever, but 97,169 of the April 17th today, 5,000 put traded. It just is like, so this is a big put wall. Let's see what it's looking like for tomorrow. Again, light. Did you see where it is? $10. $10 bid. They expire tomorrow. So today was big. Was big in that put. Very big in that put. In fact, all the puts were very active, coming all the way down. That expired today. So interesting day. Because as soon as it got threatened, I will mention, if we have till Friday, right? That if it starts to break, it may just actually open up. It's like having a levee or a dam, an earthen dam, suddenly just collapse, and that thrust of water that comes flowing out is amazing if you've ever seen it on, in process, or so you've seen a video of it. But imagine that this put wall is similar, and that if it breaks, the flow that's going to come behind it, I think, could drive the S&P a lot lower, because it will force massive amounts of correction, of adjustments. So again, we will see what happens. Now, so let me go back. So we got down to 5,007 today. Now, if we're going to go, we're going to have to include 5,012 in the futures market. Right now, there is still approximately, the SPX closed at 50.22. So there's still about $35, $40 premium. They're bopping it around because of earnings. But I think the close was like 60. So we're still looking at $35 to $38 premium in the future over the cash. If we're looking at 50.12 as being support, and we just take out 35, it's going to be that put wall is going to be well broken, because it would I'm just guesstimating on what the level, if the S&P future went to 50.12, it would kind of place the cash market at maybe 49.75, 49.80. That's breaking that put wall. So again, going back over to the S&P. So we're kind of at these levels where it's like, wow, I don't know how badly the market really wants that to happen. So here's the other side. That we managed to do 5 down here, and the 4 can be put into place here. And this actually will work out to be 1, 2. And we don't decline anymore. We rally from here. And we do it in a similar fashion. That's going to it's going to maybe allow for the 5 and then the minor 4. The 5 and then the C and then the minor 4. If this is 1, 2, then we're going to be looking for much lower levels. In fact, you'd kind of almost think we can get down to 1.618. And so we have 618 for just the wave 4. And this is a level I just really don't associate too much with a 4th wave. So, this is deep for me. This actually was a little bit deep for me, 50%. Allowable, right? So we're going to see. And what does that then suggest about this larger count? Remember that I do have others, and where I'd have to kind of come back and start to put it back down, and then maybe this was the completion point. But then, as I've discussed with you all, this is just mess. So what do I do? 1, 2, 1, 2. Okay. 1, maybe see 2. That one I probably can get away with. And then what is this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 3. Then it's going to work. But that put wall still stays in place. So, but at least the breaking of the put wall would kind of not really upset a count, so to speak. If we're really counting that completion point here, instead of a minor 3, it's a minor 5, and then all the way up. I know I'm flipping back and forth, but so's the market. And I know I'm going to get a lot of comments that, oh, no, they knew all along that the market was going to go down. It's like, yeah, we all did. But in terms of technically and how things are being left technically, this is the analysis. And so right now, I'm going to continue to look at this as the possibility that, according to what the cycles are telling me, everything else, we should start to head into a cycle trough, cycle low. And it should be a market low, not a major low, but to go along with the cycle, it would be, if we're coming down to 5,050, 5,012, somewhere in there, or just back to 5,000 basis of future, well, that is going to be a significant low in terms of recent trade. So we're basically, any pullbacks were held first above 5,200, then above 5,100. So we got that support broken, excuse me, 5,100 broken, and now 5,000 might be broken, but then retaken. So day by day, I'm taking this count, folks. So what it looks like for tomorrow, look at that on the 4-hour. Beautiful to nothing, to leaving a hammer. Wow. Yeah, it's kind of getting a little bit interesting. And let me just open this up so we can see 1, 2, 3, ABC 4. 1, ding, ding, ding. See how it's a 3? ABC 1, 2, coming off. So I'm going to expect it that's likely to open lower. If not, then what this is kind of confusing. And I can try to break it down to a 5-minute chart and go take a look at what's inside of it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You could. 3, 4. No, but it's still like it'd be A, B, C, right? So it's a strange little pattern. I couldn't possibly count it as a 5 waves. That 5th was dynamic. It was like, wow, 1 hour or 1 5-minute. We went from 50.76 to 50.96, actually all the way up to 50.97, and then just started to work our way lower. It was quite the purchase right there. And it was a great little market to kind of go collect some. It was easy to work it from the long side for that 5 minutes. And then suddenly they just took it all back. So bullish engulfing, but with nothing to engulf, got a bearish engulfing, which took it further. So yes, I can probably say 1, 2. If we kind of hold above and don't go below that level, it can stay in place, and then we would rally. And again, similar to this. Now, again, what are we doing? Hanging out right around where the whole thing closed. That's a 5-minute chart, folks. Look at these little itty bitty tiny bars. So what it needs to do, if it's going to, it needs to form that low right there, and it needs to just start going. Get above the 13, the 20, the 50, and start heading, just like it did here. And I'm serious about that. It's like no hanging out, just kind of doing nothing. It's like get it going. Now, I know we're going into Globex, right? So normally we can go pretty much sideways to whatever until Europe opens. So we'll see. We shall see. Downside scenario would suggest that we're coming down in wave 3, right? So 1, 2, and then actually a 5th wave. So, but we're coming down inside the 3rd wave. So 1 of 5, 2 of 5, and we're going to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 3 of 5, 4 of 5, 5 of 5, and here are the fibs based on wave 5 as it relates to wave 1. Equality is at 5,012. 1.618 is 49.44. We got 618 on the whole 4th wave at 49.82. So those, and that 5,000 level in the SPX remains very, very important. 2, what could happen when it breaks, or if and when it were to break. Okay. Now let's go over and look at the NASDAQ. The other beast in the room. All right, let me pull this one back out. Let's take a look at the 4-hour chart. Open that up, looking at it here. Still 1, 2. This is my do not break zone. Do not break, and that is at 16,628. I have a secondary one up here, but that was really just to show where the bottom of the 4th wave is, which we came down and touched and bounced above. Now, same deal as in the SPX or in the S&P. If that level holds, then I can put a 4 there and it's all done. But it does not look like it's going to hold. Let me explain. So we have 1, 2, 3, we're coming off. Let's go down and look at the hourly chart and see what we got. Well, here again, this one was even more complex to count than the S&P was. This was a mess. This is a double or triple ABC down to here. And then we get this ugly but doable ABC up to form wave B, and then we get 1, 2, 3, 4. Even though that was a little bit higher, this one I'm going to put, that's the 4. And then we started down in the 5. What do we have in the 5? 1, 2. So again, let me go down to the 15-minute chart and let's take a peek inside this whole mess. We came down, look at that. It still looks like it's A, B, C. We had a 15-minute. That was it was a lot of fun to trade, I got to tell you. And I really thought it was off to the races. And I'm not one that's just going to hang on. It's like if I'm making, a decent amount of money and I'm here, I'm just going to collect it and then I'll re-enter on a pullback. Well, the pullback came and it just kept going. So it was nothing to re-enter on. And it didn't just kind of walk its way down. It kind of dropped pretty quick. So again, 1 of 5, 2 of 5, 3 of 5, 4 of 5, 5 of 5. So same numbers, right? 100%, 17,576. 618, 17,334. We break that 4th wave. So that's the 4th wave of 1 lesser degree. It's just like it's kind of a guideline. You look for that within the 4th wave of 1 lesser degree. That's where it was. Now that's been broken. Where do we go from here? Right now, we're still sitting above it. We didn't break it by all that much, but if we come down to one of these levels, we will be breaking it. So my next one is way down there, by the way. It's way down here. So, and that one's just where we're forward overlap wave one, and it's not a triangle, so it would be deadly. Now, I will be looking at some other stuff, going back to some of the other counts that I have, which are not going to be as generous, and we're the only one that got left is that this is the high, is the top. I can still do that. It's not the prettiest count, but it does work and it does fit. And I can put that 3 back here, put the 4 here, put the 5 there, and put intermediate C and a B. Okay, so that is still possible. So what it would be is 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 3, 4, a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, all done. And I'm watching very carefully on that one, folks. It's not like it's over there on the sidelines, never to be shown again. But what I need is now I want some confirmation that this actually is going to now develop. Let's open it. Let's open it and look. I want it to develop. If I have to work this somehow into a 1, 2, yes, the wave 3 is unfolding beautifully. But now I want to see. And when it comes down and starts breaking below levels that really it shouldn't, that like in the S&P, and I believe I'll find that there's somewhere there is a put wall here in the NDX or in the Qs. Like, let me just see what the Qs actually did today. So Qs were down 5. So they kind of got still within support. But I think they actually broke support because I think the support was 430. And so they came down to 425. And what really started to break today was just Apple started to break again towards the end of the day after being held up. AMAT, AMD, both down pretty strong. Amazon gave some back. Booking came off. All of them really. We had Google was one of the holdouts that stayed higher. Tesla attempted to rally, could not, so it started to come back down. Then, what really was holding it up for the longest period was NVIDIA. Now, NVIDIA has now come down into where it should find support. Now, again, not that I usually would include these, but we have that support right there. Excuse me, it's at 828. I knew I had some support in there somewhere. Let me bring this down to the hourly chart and I can be able to better see it. So we had the rally all the way back up and then they just annihilated. It rallied back up to 875, and where's it finish? 843, and that's on an uptick. Come out all the way down. So it was down 33, but the actual support, where is that this leg would be equal to this leg, is at 828, and then it breaks. You can see how it breaks. 382. So off of the high. So let me go out here. You can see this, if we're just putting in a corrective wave, 382 is down at 773, 774. 50% is 712, 618 is 650. That's just if it's correcting this move from 450 up to 974. This is what it can do. And again, it's all possible right now because we've got the cycles pointing in a direction. We've got the fact that a bigger pullback has been needed in a lot of the AI. It's just being prevented, and I think a lot of that is due to the expirations that are coming on Friday. And then remember that NVIDIA does not report until late. They're late in the whole sequence, the whole reporting season. And I think that they still haven't actually said it, but I would think May, some point out in May, mid to late May, NVIDIA will report. Plenty of time for it to get down here in a correction and then explode higher on earnings. So That is NVIDIA, and that had a lot of the control over our pal, the NASDAQ today. Um, and you can always kind of go out to just see the percentages. What you do is you kind of go to Slick Charts, and Slick Charts just compiles. They're great. It's a great service. And you can look at the companies within the NASDAQ. And because it's a cap weighted index, you can see how much weight each of these hold. So the top three, again, are Microsoft. It sits at the top of the food chain now. It was Apple for years. And now Microsoft has taken over. So Microsoft is close to 9%, 9% weighted of the index. Apple is 7.70%, and NVIDIA is almost 6.25%. So it's responsible for a lot. In fact, it was down 3.53% today, and that gets calculated into the NASDAQ. So it carries a lot of weight when it starts to move around. And you'll see that if you're watching NVIDIA and you're watching the NASDAQ and they do buy, 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 it's like ding, 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 up it goes. So again, what all of this is going to do, I can only give you some parameters. But if it's a 1-2, then it's like get out of the way, because this is going to be a 3, 4, and a 5, and we likely will end up down here somewhere. And so we will be paying close attention. I will be. I'm not really looking for 618, not in a fourth wave, not in a fourth wave. But again, I think as I was showing, under this particular count, we got the no-fly zone is way down here at 16,006, 34, 30 something. And so that is pretty far down. That's where it can't cross. As a minor 4, it can't cross. As it all done coming down, it will be expected to cross, but I'm not sure how all of this. I think I'd still leave it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So everything still falls into place, and it would be again that minute fifth wave that ends up being the diagonal. That's just pretty much as it is right now. So it was a diagonal. It was in the fifth wave position. Just it would then be a fifth wave of a fifth wave of a minor 5. So again, that's still out there. That's still back, but it's going to be how we end up looking at what came after all of this. This is very problematic to an impulse count down. That's problematic. So I'm open to suggestions. All right. So again, let's take a peek of what, if anything, is coming out tomorrow in terms of economic data. We have initial jobless claims, Philly Fed manufacturing. We have 1, 2, 3, 3 Fed governors out speaking. Fed governors, New York Fed president, Atlanta Fed president, all out speaking at various times. So initial jobless claims, Philly Fed at 8:30 a.m. At 10 a.m., existing home sales and leading economic indicators. If they continue to really decay, not going to be a good thing. So we'll see. We'll see. Because again, the economy is supposed to be like doing really well, and we're all firing on all cylinders, et cetera, et cetera. And a robust economy, robust employment market, but we're having trouble in controlling inflation. All right. Let's see how these come out and what effect they will have on the market. And 2 of them, initial jobless claims and Philly Fed, come out before, and then after the first half hour, we get 2 more. All right, that is going to be it for today, and the next update will be on Thursday, April the 18th.